like you said, whenever a guy, end up getting hurt or whatever, the next guy up, they're just picking up the slack. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what you always want to see from your football team. If one of your dogs go out, the next guy up, can he do the same thing or close to the same thing? Then that's when you got a real solid, good football team.
Yeah, money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock. Bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.
Ladies and gents, welcome back. Once again, yours truly, all things covered with the great, the legendary Patrick Peterson, and just me. I'm a mere mortal, BMac, Bryant McFadden. We're excited for this episode. There's a lot to talk about. Digest. When it comes to football, this is the I don't want to say it's the meat and potatoes, but it's almost like the bacon and the eggs. People are just getting things started. There's a lot going on with this first month in the NFL, and the same can be said for college football. And speaking of college football, as you see me, myself, Pat P, we are rocking our college teams. Florida State for me, LSU for Pat Peterson, and we have some exciting news for all of our listeners, all of our viewers, all of our fans. We have an exclusive discount code with Home Field Apparel, one of the best apparel companies in the world. At checkout, if you enter in your promo code COVERED, COVERED, in the checkout promo code, you will get 15% off, which is a very, very exclusive discount coming from yours truly, all things covered. They've sent us a lot of gear. We're going to rep, we're going to rock. And the thing that I love about the gear, Pat P, is that the soft material, the cotton, it feels so good when I put it on. It kind of adjusts to my body. It's not that hard, thick cotton that doesn't go. It doesn't move at all, Pat P. It's breathable and it fits to my body. How you feel about the home field gear that you've been rocking thus far?
Man, it feels great. Like you said, the material of this shirt. I love this hat, this snapback vintage LSU logo hat. I love that. But the material of the clothing is phenomenal. Like the bomber jacket I got, the hoodie I got. It's about to be, I know it's early fall right now, but, when it gets a little bit deeper into fall, the weather's going to drop a little bit. So I can't wait to sport the bomber and the hoodies that they sent over. But quality, 100, top notch. So I'm happy that they was able to send us over a care package. Hopefully we can do more.
Oh, no question. And for all our college football lovers out there, not just football lovers, but college lovers, when it comes to sports or athletics, Home Field Apparel is the place to go. And like I said, we want to gift you guys something. So we have that promo code that will give you 15% off your first offer. When you look at your first order, when you look at everything they have so many universities. You talk about the bomber jackets, the hoodies, the socks, the jogging pants, the T-shirts, the whole nine, the coaching jackets. They have everything you would like, plus more on the website. So make sure you go check them out. And on your first purchase, insert that code COVERED. You get 15% off.
Hey, before we
what you got, Pat?
Hugo, run the tape.
Well, you're not playing against LSU. They ain't making the playoffs. But if you go against the Nose, man,
the Nose making the playoffs?
Yeah, what you mean?
You want to put something on that?
Pat P, you've been playing not making the playoffs. Years. LSU.
Those are not making the playoffs.
We can put something on it.
Bad. We'll talk. We'll let Jeremiah get the study hall.
We're gonna let Jeremiah don't need to be involved in this right here.
Mac, I thought at the beginning of the year that you said Florida State was going to be better than LSU. Have you guys won a game yet?
That's not what we're supposed to be talking about, Pat.
Oh, my bad. Did I bring it up to? Is it too early?
You don't need no.
Why are you stuttering?
That's not what we talk. What do you mean? We just gave our grip.
I just saw the Florida State. I just saw you had the Florida State shirt on. I had the LSU shirt on, and it just rung a bell.
That bell shouldn't be rung. Leave that bell wherever it's at, man. Let us be what we be. And matter of fact, we do have a win. We just got our first win.
Oh, who y'all played? Golden State?
We played Cal, Berkeley.
Okay.
Yeah, one of many,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. One a minute.
One of many. You know what I mean?
What's your
So,
prediction? What's your prediction? I know the season has started, but
this is what
what
you
is
gonna
your
hit me with.
prediction now on how many wins you think y'all gonna get this year? You think y'all gonna be bowl eligible?
We gotta be bowl eligible. We gotta get at least 5 wins.
I know you said you gotta, but I'm asking you, what is your prediction?
I believe, Pat P. I ain't
Okay.
about to turn my back on my university. I believe in the good times and the bad times. I believe. Now, it has been a disappointing season thus far because of the expectations and with us being 0-3 in the first 3 ball games. No one saw that happening.
No.
But we just got our first win. There's a lot that can happen if we turn this thing around. When it comes to playoff aspirations, that's disco dead. That ain't happening no more. But we can add some misery to some teams that have playoff aspirations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the guys there, they got pride got to stand in front of you. You know what I mean? You can't just continue to lay down and let people, beat you as an individual and beat you as a team. So hopefully this week we have SMU. We travel out to SMU, out in to Dallas. That's going to be an intriguing matchup, but hopefully we can add another win to our win column. I'll tell you this much: LSU, outside of losing first game, which you were there, Las Vegas to USC. LSU is looking pretty good. Garrett Nussmeier is looking like a pro prospect.
Yeah, which we should have won. It was a little coaching decisions there that was a little questionable, in my opinion. But
no question,
we defeated. So it is what it is. We're still in the hunt. We just got to go on the run right now.
Yeah, and y'all, soon about to get an SEC play, which matters the most out of anything. So yeah, y'all lost to USC, but you still have opportunity to achieve everything you want to achieve because that wasn't a conference loss.
Right, and
you know what I mean?
The way USC is playing, hell, it looks like it was. It looked from the looks of it, it looked like it's going to come down to be a good loss because USC is playing some good football as well.
Yeah, they just took one on the chin to Michigan. That's a game they should have won. Yeah. They just didn't tackle. You know what I mean? And think about this, Pat P. We played the game. Imagine losing a football game when you only allowed 23 yards through the air.
I know.
That ain't supposed to be possible.
No.
That's not.
Nowhere in the hell the team who had 23 yards in the air. And it wasn't even raining.
We ain't talking about Pop Warner football either. We're talking about big-time college football. You only give a 23 yards in the air and you lose.
You lose a ball game, yeah.
And you didn't play against Navy or Army or teams that are known just to run the football left and right. You played against Michigan and you took an L. So it was an entertaining game. It was. But SC, they lost. That's a game they should have won. And it might come back and bite them later on because that's a conference loss because SC is now in the Big Ten.
That's conference play.
Yeah, that hurt a little more than losing to out of conference team. When you lose in conference, that hurts a little more. So that's why LSU is that team in the SEC people are not really talking about. You know what I mean? But they kind of slithering through the grass because people are talking about Georgia, Bama, heck, Ole Miss. Have you ever lost to Ole Miss when you were at LSU?
Yeah, I lost to Ole Miss once.
Yeah, people talk about Ole Miss, Tennessee. No one is really talking about LSU right now. And I think, for your fan base, Pat P, that's how y'all like it. Just to kind of be in the background a little bit and just pop out and show them, in the words of K-Dot.
And Dennis Allen.
Pop out and show them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And talking about college, Pat P, there's a lot going on in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. So for our viewers, please hit us up in the comment section. We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about what you've seen in 3 weeks of play in the NFL. But Pat P, our former team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, might be one of the bigger surprises in the National Football League. Being 3-0 at this moment, a lot of people felt like Pittsburgh would struggle, especially not knowing the situation at the quarterback position. But before we get into Pittsburgh, I know you did say a few weeks ago, you spoke about the quarterback situation, and this Mike was after the Atlanta game. And you stated at that time that you felt like Justin would remain the starting quarterback. He was the best player for them, and you didn't see Mike Tomlin making a change. Now, you said that weeks ago. Yeah. How do you see this quarterback situation now for Pittsburgh moving forward?
The same. I believe it's just at this point, it's just Justin's job to lose. 500 plus yards throughout the air, 90 plus QBR rating, completion rating, 80% plus, and really, really playing some efficient football.
Yep.
So it's hard to take the football out of the hot hand. Like we had this situation last year when obviously we went through 3 quarterbacks, but when Mason had that hot hand, you got to ride the wave. You must ride the wave, and I believe it's hard for coach to take Justin out of the lineup, especially when Russ only played 1 preseason game. He played 1 preseason game, and now we're going to be entering the second quarter of the season, which we know is an important and a valuable, part of the season.
Yeah.
So why would you want to mess up the rhythm that they're starting to get into? Look back at the last game. You can probably agree with this. I felt like watching that ball game, they turned the keys over because now to Justin, I'm speaking of the offense.
Yeah.
I felt like they opened up the playbook a little bit more. They were taking a little bit more shots, a little bit more design plays versus just, preseason type plays, just dink and dunk, just looking like rhythm type passing. Like you can just tell now they open up the playbook to give him the opportunity to showcase his talents, what everyone questioned in the early part of his career. So, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job. The defense is playing well, which is the number 1 overall defense right now in the NFL. They're playing still a brand football, So, like I said, it's going to be hard. In my opinion, I believe it's hard to take the football out of the hot player's hand, which is Justin Fields.
And you know what? You to your point, which was a great point by you. You talked about how they opened up the playbook finally. The first 2 ball games, it was more generic offensively, dink and duck. It was almost like preseason play, the way how they attacked those 2 games. But then in the 3rd game against the best defense they faced up until this point, because the Chargers defensively came into that game one of the top dogs in the league.
And that's what gave me clarity right there. Going up against the number 2 defense in the NFL.
Yep.
In the first 2 weeks, it was really dummy down. Now in the 3rd week, you open it up against a tough, a quality opponent on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. And he embraced that opportunity. He embraced the expansion of the playbook. And the most important thing that I'm loving from Justin Fields is that he's keeping the football clean. Yeah, he threw an interception this past Sunday, but it was a deflected ball by the D lineman. It wasn't like it was a bad read where he just tried to fit the ball in a tight space, and that was more on him. That was just the defensive lineman made a play. We didn't get a chance to knock it down. They picked it off. But outside of that, he's playing clean football. And one of the most important things that I remember when I first got drafted to Pittsburgh, and this has been the mentality of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, forever, even right now with Mike T as the head coach. Bill Cowher, who was the head coach at the time, Pat P, in a team meeting we had a Saturday night before our Sunday game, he was addressing the offense. And he said, I want you guys to know something. I love punting the football at times. I'm okay in punting the football. For us, when we punt the football, don't take that as a loss. Take that as a win, because we give our defense, who we believe is the best in the world, every opportunity to defend every blade of grass that is behind them. He said, when you don't punt and you try to force something, you create turnovers.
Right.
Turnovers is never a good thing, even with us having a great defense, because momentum instantly shifts. So if you can just protect the football and be okay in punting, that's okay. So what I'm seeing from Justin to that point, he's not trying to press the issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's taking what the defense is giving him. He understands, bro, if it's 3rd and 8 and ain't nothing there, I ain't going to try to force it. I'm going to throw it away and allow our defense to defend every blade of grass that is behind them. And usually if that's the case, we will win more of those situations than we will lose. And that's what we're seeing in 3 games of play. And that's why we're 3-0. Because think about this, Pat P, outside of the Charger game last week, Atlanta was a very, very close ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Denver was kind of close as well.
Yeah.
If there was turnovers from our offense with a close like ball game, that will put you in position to lose, because points coming at a premium.
And field position.
And field position. Yeah. There you have it. And field position, because go back to week 1, Chris Boswell was the MVP because we won the field position battle and we didn't have what Atlanta had, which was turnovers.
Right.
So if Justin continues to have that mindset, And we know eventually turnovers will surface because that's just the name of the game when you're playing good on good. But just be smart with the football, and we stay healthy. All the naysayers that were talking trash in the beginning of the season before the season started, Pittsburgh is fourth best in their division and all that. You're starting to see things differently now when you watch Pittsburgh and you watch the other teams in our division. So Steeler fans, hit us up in our comment section. Let us know how you're feeling about the season. What do you think the outlook will look moving forward with Justin Fields? And do you think Justin Fields should be the guy moving forward? And talking about the division, the AFC North, there's a lot of chaos going on, which I love, right? Pittsburgh, we're 3-0. Baltimore 1-2, just got their first victory against the Dallas Cowboys. And, oh, by the way, I was rooting for the Dallas Cowboys, and I should never root for the Dallas Cowboys. But anytime I do, Pat, they break my heart. Yeah, they break my heart.
Like the rest of America.
Facts. Cleveland 1-2, and Cincinnati, that Monday night loss to Washington, they're 0-3. When you look at this division right here, I mean, it's still early to your point, but with Pittsburgh having a nice little cushion on the other three teams, who do you foresee potentially turning things around sooner than later when you look at Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincinnati?
Baltimore easily. Baltimore is, the better team out of the other three.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to find a way to stop shooting themselves in the foot. It's just too many, in my opinion, just too many blown coverages on the back end, not close, like foolish plays on the offensive side of the ball, really not closing out football games. And they have Derrick Henry, which it shouldn't be a problem, closing out football games. And I know that is his first year there. So they're still trying to figure him out. And it seems to be that they figured him out a little bit, what type of runs that he liked best, which is Lamar Jackson up under the center.
Yep.
But the Baltimore Ravens, by far, I believe it's going to come down to the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. When it's all said and done, the Bengals, too much turmoil going on over there. Contract situations. That's never a good thing when you're going into the season or playing in the season with your top player really not signed. And then Cleveland. I just don't know what the heck is going on over there. So they got a bunch of problems as far as with their offense, with their with their the way they're able to execute. Just look like they're not on sync and on the same page right now. So like I said, I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
I agree as well. I think Baltimore would be the next best team in the division when you talk about turning over a new leaf because they're a talented team. Mm-hmm. That loss to the Raiders surprised everybody. I think Baltimore went into that ball game an 8.5-point favorite and just squandered everything away, right? They allow the Raiders to come back in the fourth quarter, similar to what they just did against Dallas, because Dallas made a surge in the fourth quarter to make the game a little tighter than what it was. Right. So Baltimore got to find a way to finish the drill. Cleveland, I'm going to tell you this much, Pat P. I don't know if Cleveland, their organization, they have the guts to make a quarterback change. But if things don't turn around sooner than later, they're going to have to make a quarterback change.
Yeah.
And Jameis is the backup quarterback. But when you give a man $230 million guaranteed and you're not winning, granted, they're 1-2, but we know the expectation for Cleveland based on what they did last year without their franchise quarterback, they came into this season with a team that felt like they can get to New Orleans at the end of the season.
Yeah, well equipped.
And you lost to the Giants? Daniel Jones outplayed Deshaun Watson.
He did.
For whatever reason.
I had to apologize off the way Daniel Jones played in that game.
You said something about Daniel Jones before the game?
No, I didn't say nothing. You remember before the season, I was just saying how I felt like Daniel Jones just had a big arm.
Yep.
But he proved me wrong. He proved me wrong during that game for sure.
That's what I'm saying. If you're Cleveland, you didn't pay Deshaun Watson all of that money just to be okay. You paid him that money to be a difference maker. You paid him that money to make everybody in your offense look better. And think about this, right? When you talk about seeing teams that look horrible in the first few weeks of the season, and I'm going to use the Carolina Panthers as an example, right? And I'm not throwing dirt on Bryce Young. I felt like Bryce Young was put in a position where he didn't really have a lot to really help him flourish and grow, right? And because of that, they didn't win ball games. They didn't look good. Offensive line looked bad. Wide receivers wasn't creating separation. But then when they made a quarterback change, it kind of shook up everything in the locker room, right? You bring in an older guy with a lot of experience in Andy Dalton, and instantly the offensive line look like they can protect.
Right.
Instantly, Adam Thielen is looking like Adam Thielen in the Minnesota Vikings uniform. Instantly, the running backs are getting running lanes. The defense is making plays. They had to shake something up to kind of revitalize the program. And I'm not saying that Cleveland needs to do that right now. All I'm saying, viewers, is that if it don't get better, sooner than later, they're going to have to make one of the bigger decisions in that organization, in the history of that organization, if they decide to move on and insert a new quarterback when you take out the $230 guaranteed $1 million man, all guaranteed.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland make a quarterback change this week.
They got the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
That should be a win.
Listen, I'm telling you, if you don't do nothing this week,
hey,
Jameson might be inserted into the lineup.
So check this out. They're on a 3-game road trip, right, Pat P? They got the Raiders, Washington, Philly, all on the road, then Cincy, Baltimore, and they get into November with the Chargers. That is the next 6 ball games.
It got to happen now for them.
So
monster game, bro. Like,
you go out to Las Vegas, who looked bad last week against Carolina. Don't forget they beat Baltimore a week ago.
Hey, no doubt about it. Yeah, we'll talk about the Raiders here in a second, but go ahead.
Yeah, so for Cleveland viewers, let us know. Like they could be 0-3 because they skid through that Jacksonville game. Jacksonville kind of gave that one away. They could easily be 0-3.
Yeah, Jacksonville gave all their games away except for last
week.
Yeah.
Jacksonville is like a flea market. They're giving away product. You go to that flea market, you get pretty much get everything for free. They're just giving away. You remember the good flea markets back in the day?
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Right there, I remember one right there in Market.
No question. No question. So Cleveland, man, they got a little situation going on. And with Cincinnati, to your point, Cincinnati, their defense has been atrocious. They can't stop the run. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow finally looked like Joe Burrow when he got all his pass catchers in the lineup. T. Higgins was back. Jamar Chase looked like an elite player. But defense, they have some concerns. And now they got Carolina coming up. So they cannot afford to go 0-4. And you lose to Carolina. If they 0-4, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I know Carolina's playing a little hot right now.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if Cincinnati go in there and they go in that game leaking and they get down early, it might be over for them.
Yeah.
If they go in there and get a lead, play with some,
it's a wrap. You're right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Right now, Cincinnati, I don't want to say a front running team, but if they get out on you early, yeah, they're gonna take you in deep water and drown you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's important for Carolina to get off to a fast start. Now, another team I'd like to highlight and talk about, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, viewers, if there's another player in the National Football League that is playing better than Josh Allen, let me hear his name. And I'm asking you that question, Pat P. Is there another player in the National Football League that is playing better than Josh Allen right now?
No, sir. Josh Allen is the MVP of the season. Besides, who's close? I know his name is not big. Sam Darnold. Although his name is not as big as Josh Allen. But Sam Darnold is playing some damn good ball right now, too.
Pat, listen. And I wanted to talk to you about Minnesota, and you just kind of threw it in my front door right quick, like a FedEx package. So I'm gonna answer the door.
I don't even need a signature. I don't even need a signature, Coach.
Hey, before we talk about Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in the National Football League. And even when you were there and just talking to you and knowing we had conversation with Kevin O'Connell, just seeing how easy it is for him to get the entire locker room to believe in him.
Right.
Like the first defining thing you need to see from a coach, if he's a good coach, his ability to lead men instantly. Because when you're a leader of men, they respect you and they're going to do everything that you need them to do or want them to do. That's what great coaches have at their disposal. Now, for Kevin O'Connell, Pat P, he is so comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, when an injury happened to key players, he keeps the boat afloat. Like, even going back to last year, they lost Justin Jefferson, they lost Kirk Cousins, and even in the midst of all of that, they still was in the playoff conversation with Nick Mullins, Joshua Dobbs, Darren Reed. It didn't matter at the quarterback position. And even right now, they're not fully healthy right now. But to your point about Sam Darnold, the way he's like allowing Sam Darnold to be the point guard for this offense, the trust, including the coaching, has made Sam Darnold look like a player we haven't seen in his professional career. Now, you were there with Minnesota for 2 years, so you have been up close and personal with Kevin O'Connell. What makes him such a good coach and with him having this type of success?
Like you said, his ability to galvanize guys to believe in his system, believe in the process. And he has a very, very unique process, man. I'll never forget his first season with us, which is my last year there. He had these days planned out throughout the week during training camp. Like we had a heavy load day, a medium day, then a low load day. Basically will be like we'll go super hard for 2 periods or whatever. And then, it's kind of not a walk through, but it's just almost like a high intensity jog through. But at the same time, his efforts was to get the younger guys ready for the moment. So we're always going through every situation throughout the game, and we know how fast the game is. So I figured that he felt that if we slow it down for him to get the guys to really understand the spacing and their assignment, we can possibly get these guys to play better. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is what's helping these younger guys being able to succeed when their number is called. Because like you said, whenever a guy, end up getting hurt or whatever, the next guy up, they're just picking up the slack. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what you always want to see from your football team. If one of your dogs go out, the next guy up, can he do the same thing or close to the same thing? Then that's when you got a real solid, good football team. And just being with him for that year, he really helped the guys understand the mental side of the game because you already know the guys who you're picking up, they're already talented enough to help you win, right?
Yeah.
Now is, as you know, you've been in a locker room, 70% of it with guys that's playing is mental, or understanding their assignment, or understanding what they're doing when that play is called. So by him doing those situations throughout training camp and not really making it so high intensity on the guys, like, damn, man, if I go out here and mess this up full speed, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to get cut. So he's giving guys every opportunity to make the team and also give him the best opportunity to evaluate guys that's going to give him the best opportunity if something does happen down the line throughout the season.
Yeah, man, it's been wonderful to watch. And think about this. They're 3-0, having great offensive success. TJ Hawkinson is still injured. Jordan Addison has been injured throughout the early part of this season. And they don't miss a beat. And then when you look at their defense.
I was just about to say, the unsung hero to me is Brian Flores. What he's been able to do with that defense, even from the second half of the season last year, the way he's able to confuse quarterbacks, the way he's able to create turnovers, shorten the field for their offense, putting all of his prime players in position to make plays, playing all over the place, confusing the quarterback. That's been a beautiful thing to watch as well. So for me, unsung hero for the Vikings season thus far is Brian Flores because, it's been a lot of questions, about how they were going to compete in the NFC North. I think all of those questions have been answered. Obviously, we know it's still the first quarter of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that defense is rolling right now, man, watch
they look
out.
good, man. They look good. It look like they're playing with 15 guys out there, not 11. Mm-hmm. This is disguise concepts. Man, you don't know where pressure coming from. Heck, I heard Brock Purdy say, I think he stated something to the fact they were confusing. Like they got something going on with the way how he's drawing it up. He reminds me a lot. His coaching style and how he's designing his blitz concepts remind me a lot of my former DC and Dick LeBeau, because we used to try to disguise everything and show one thing and play the other. And then just the aggression of the late, great Jim Johnson, who was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles during Andy Reid's early tenure there. And just a combination of those two, that's what he has in his playbook. And it's been working. And we got to see exactly how it keeps rolling, because right now, Minnesota, they're one of the bigger surprises in the National Football League. Another surprising team, the team who you used to see in your division, the Seattle Seahawks. You know, Geno Smith, South Florida guy. Shouts out to Miramar, Florida, Miramar High School. Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks, they're 3-0. You know, Geno is letting it go, and he's throwing to his favorite target guy who you've battled against quite a few times in DK Metcalf. Man, how surprising is it for you to see the Seahawks really have a hold of their division right now in 3 games of play?
Not very surprised to see that they have a control of the division, because Seahawks are always going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they added another defensive-minded coach, Geno Smith has already been playing lights out since he became a starter with the Seattle Seahawks. So it was never a question on how they were going to play. It was all about how they were going to gel with their new head coach. You know, so now, like we talked about, the first quarter of the season is almost behind them. Have another game this Sunday that will pretty much close out the first quarter of the season. They kind of pretty much have a feel for one another. They kind of pretty much identified themselves on what style of play they want to play each and every Sunday. You know, Seattle brand football. I don't know what they call it around there, but you know, every team want to identify themselves for something or have an identity for themselves throughout the entire season. You know, so I'm not really surprised to see the success of Seattle thus far. We know it's going to come down to the hunt, because the Arizona Cardinals are playing with a lot of fire right now.
Yeah, they are.
They should be 2-1, at least 2-1, almost 3-1, 3-0, minus a couple plays from that Detroit game. And they just needed to finish the Buffalo Bills game, because they started the game off very, very hot. Then you got the Rams, who's playing. The Rams are just a juggernaut. You know, they're just going to find a way to win a ball game. Anytime Coach Sean, I just love Coach Sean McVay. Just his coaching style and his confidence that he's able to give in given the confidence that he have in his players as well, regardless who's in the lineup. You know, see him doing the same thing with Matthew Stafford won. I remember one year, Jared Goff was his quarterback, but he ended up being hurt, and I can't even remember the quarterback name. It was number 6. But he still had the same confidence in him than he had in the other quarterbacks. Yeah. You know, so the division is going to be a tight one, but I'm not surprised at all to see the success that the Seattle Seahawks are having right now. It's tough to play in their stadium. The 12th man is real. And the way Geno Smith is playing right now is almost like a Pittsburgh style, you know, personality. They're going to lean on their defense. Offense, don't turn the ball over. Gonna run the football, and let's just see what happens in the fourth quarter.
And these games are super important. Yes, there's a lot of football left to be played, but if you're a team like Seattle, to your point, late in January, you're in the playoffs, that's not a place you want to go. Like, it can be difficult playing there, and their defense is attacking. It's in a downhill attacking style defense led by their head coach, Mike McDonald, and they're playing some inspiring football. Another team player I want to talk to you about, and real quick, you said something great about Sean McVay. I think he's one of the best coaches. Sean McVay, to me, Pat P, is a top 3 coach in the National Football League.
Yes.
And that victory against San Francisco, they always find a way to be competitive against San Francisco, but not having Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, so many guys on the IR not in the lineup for that game, and they won. The Rams are like, you know, for a boxer, anytime you're a championship like boxer and you want to get some sparring work, you want to go get you a sparring partner.
In a juggernaut, man.
But you don't want to get a sparring partner that can put you to sleep, because that ain't gonna look good in your workout regimen. The Rams are the sparring partner you don't want to pick, because they might put you to sleep. Yeah. And that's what happened with San Fran, because they're a team that's coached very, very good, and they always fight to the end. And when they do get healthy If they allow the Rams just to stick around and hover around until all their soldiers get back in the lineup, boy, look out. Look out, man. Look out. All right, so we just saw Monday night game this past Monday. It was 2 Monday night games. We kind of talked about Buffalo. You know, they took care of business against Jacksonville. But I want to hit on the Washington Commanders, right? Jaden Daniels, great LSU alum, rookie quarterback, week 3, third game of the season, played phenomenal football, Pat P. I think he had only 2 incompletions.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. What have you seen from Jaden Daniels? And do you believe this early success is sustainable for him?
Yes, I really, really do. Just seeing how he capped off his senior year, you know, winning the Heisman, you know, breaking SEC records or getting close to SEC records, and coming into the NFL doing it, pretty much picking up where he left off.
Yep.
It's remarkable. What really, really gave me, I guess, validation that he will be able to sustain this success. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a clip. I think it was the drive. I think it was the drive that he threw that touchdown. And it was a 4th down play, and Coach Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, got the play in late, so they had to burn a timeout, right? Mm-hmm. So they ended up running the read option. He ended up getting the first down. Come back the next play, Cliff was still slow getting the call in, because when I was watching that game, it looked like Jaden had a lot of freedom to pretty much get the offense in whatever that he was comfortable or whatever he thought that was successful.
Yeah.
So he looked to the sideline. He was like, "Let's go, man. Get me the play in." And to see that from a young guy, that was like, yeah, he gets it. He's going to be one of those guys. And you can just tell his teammates love him. His teammates are behind him.
Yep.
His teammates are riding with him because of the way he carry himself. You know, he to me, it looks like he is a 3 to 4 year vet. He almost remind me, I feel like he's going to have like that CJ Stroud type trajectory, just because of his poise, his understanding of the offense at this early stage in his career.
Yeah.
His ability to check different things that he feel comfortable, that's going to be successful against the defense. Yeah, man, the sky's the limit for Jaden, man. It was a real honor to have an opportunity to watch a full game of his last night, to see how he was going to react in certain situations. The moments were never too big for him. The best throw of the night was 3rd down, and I think it was 3rd and 4. Two something left in the 4th quarter. Cincinnati sent the house.
0 blitz.
He knew the house was coming. He stood in there, took the pressure, and delivered a freaking dime.
He
delivered a dime.
Hey, listen, bro. That was the most important drive for Washington, because Cincinnati had just scored. Washington defensively were kind of on their heels. You needed to work clock, but you also needed to add more points. And ideally, you needed a touchdown.
And not on top of that, the drive before, I don't know if you remember, because they scored. They went for it on 4th and 1, the read option I was talking about. It was at 30-something yard line. As a defensive coach, I thought they was going to kick the field goal. And with a rookie quarterback. But coach said, hell no, we're going for it.
We're going for it. They trust him.
I was just about to say that. That shows that they have trust in Jaden Daniels at this early stage in his career. And like I said, it was a beautiful thing to watch.
Jaden Daniels is a version of Lamar Jackson. But at this stage in his career, when Lamar Jackson was a rookie, Jaden Daniels is a better thrower of the football.
Yeah, he's a better passer. Hands down.
When you go back to Lamar's rookie year, just being a pure thrower of the football, you know, Lamar has developed to be better in that element. Right now, Jaden Daniels is a natural thrower of the football, but he's elusive.
He just happen to have wheels.
Oh, my. You see how smooth it looks when he's running? It makes it look so easy, bro. It's like He's not rushed. He ain't pressed. He just running around. Oh, y'all can't hit me. Y'all can't hit me. Let me go get this extra 5-6 yards and get
La
down.
la 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 la.
Yeah. And get this, Pat. I saw a stat that said in their last 2 ball games, last night and last week, they scored on every possession.
Oh, another crazy thing is the punter haven't punted in God knows how long.
In the last 2 games.
Yes. That means they moving the ball up and down the field, Jack.
They scored on every possession, man. Hey, when is it too soon? And this question is for Pat P and for the viewers. Hit us up in your comment section.
You saying he the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year?
He's gonna be the rookie of the year. No, but I said, when is it too soon to say Chicago drafted the wrong quarterback?
Right now.
No, you can't. In 3 games, you saying that, Pat P?
Yeah.
In 3 games?
Yeah, man. Because I only watched a couple games of Caleb Williams. I wasn't a big fan of him when he was in college, man. I feel like you can get away with a lot of stuff in college football. I felt like he was a backyard player. I felt like his mechanics when he threw the ball was very sloppy. And I'm not even a quarterback guy.
But Pat, you done played against a lot of great quarterbacks in your career.
I have.
And you done studied them as well. So
yeah, so I felt like he threw a lot of his passes off his back foot. He had to emphasize on a lot of plays, so it wasn't like nothing was like on cue. And just like his pocket presence, it was a bunch of times that I felt like in the pocket where he could have stood tall in the pocket and deliver a pass, but no, he want to try to create extra time and do a circus play. As you know, that ain't gonna last in the NFL.
Yeah, and then throwing against your body, throwing backside, and
right, and that's all I saw throughout college.
Yeah,
Jaden, on the other hand, you can see him going through his progression. You can see him sit in the pocket, waiting to the last minute for the pocket to break down. Like I said, going through his progression, going to the check downs, whatever the case may be, bringing his team back. All the things that you're looking for in a prototype quarterback. Jaden, in my opinion, it showed that more than Caleb Williams, especially his senior year, their last year in college, in my opinion. What you think?
Well, first of all, last year, Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in college football.
No doubt about it.
Period. Yeah. It was not even debatable. He was the best guy in college football. Now, for Chicago, I think they looked at the entirety of their collegiate careers, and Caleb, would probably trump Jaden when it comes to everything. Mm-hmm. But to your point about the not really being well-defined in the pocket, he's been playing his entire life like that, even going back to his Oklahoma days, right? So the coaching or the lack thereof, it wasn't really emphasized about, no, you can't keep doing that. Yeah, you get away with it, but you can't keep doing that. So now, Pat P, if you were a player and you've been playing a certain way for such a long time and you were applauded for these things that you were doing because they were entertaining plays and highlight plays that we all talked about, then when you get to the highest level and they might tell you, hey, you can't do that, it's going to take some time for you to get that out of your system.
And that's why I said
because you were given the leeway to run around and do all that stuff and throw against your body. Think about when we used to see him at SC run around this way and just throw backside, and oddly enough, someone catches the pass and scores. They will applaud him like, yeah, but in the NFL, bro, you can't do that. It's gonna get picked.
No doubt about it.
These are the things. To your point, we're seeing right now in 3 weeks of play, and quiet is kept. Chicago needs to be thankful for Will Levis and thankful for their special teams unit. Because if their special teams unit and defense did not score in week 1 against Tennessee, they would be 0-3 right now.
No doubt about it.
They would be 0-3.
No doubt about it.
So, but to your point, you said it's right now is the time to say they drafted the wrong quarterback. Wow.
Yeah, right now.
Y'all heard the man. Hit us up in the comment section. Do you agree with that, Pete?
Like you said, to your point, when a player has been applauded off everything that he's done throughout his young football career, how long is it going to take him to break that? How long is it going to take a coaching staff to break that mold? And on top of that, it's going to be a possibility that he's going to have a new coaching staff next year. So, therefore, especially if they don't play well. You know how this league is, Mac. The coach was on the thin strain, thin ice last year. So if they
Eberflus.
don't finish out this strain, I don't like calling for people jobs.
Yeah.
But if they don't win more than 7 games this year, they're going to be in the looks for another head coach, and it's going to be a whole revamp of offense coordinator. So now he's going to have to learn a whole new offensive playbook, right? And what somebody's going to do is, if they don't trust something, they're going to fall back on what they rely on.
And also too, I remember his quarterback coach at SC last year was Cliff Kingsbury, and Chicago wanted to get him to Chicago. He declined and went to Washington. Now we all knew Chicago was going to draft Caleb.
Yes, and he made the right decision, coach. And he was only with him for a whole year, so he understood what he was already. So he was like, why the hell I'm going to that again?
Wow. I mean,
right? Am I wrong, Matt?
No, you got a good point, because if you are a coach and there's a kid you've been working with and you love everything about his game, and I got a chance to follow him and be with him.
Change the league. Let's go do this thing together. He said, no, man, Jaden's better, so I'm going with Jaden.
Wow. Hey, an old school coach told me one time, never accept anything that you wouldn't accept in a loss that you accept in a win.
Right.
Like, if I do something wrong and we lose the ball game, you coach me up, you should do the same thing. If I do the same thing in a win, and it seems like they never was, hey, Caleb, you got to stop doing that. Yeah, you threw a 70-yard touchdown, but you got to stop. You can't do that. You can't do that. So now it's in his system, and it's going to take some time for him to get it out of his system. But in Chicago, with the fan base, with all the hype, the expectations, all the new additions they made, they ain't waiting. They ain't trying to be patient. Who Chicago got this week? Chicago has, we're gonna talk about these lines in a minute. They got the Rams at home.
I like the Rams.
But we're gonna talk about, because before we get off, we're gonna talk about some of the premier games when it comes to the betting side of things, and we're gonna make some picks, and we're gonna bring them back next week. Right? Would you say, Pat?
And I got a question for you.
Okay, what you got? You got it right now?
Yeah, I got it right now. It's a hot take, Coach.
What's that?
I want you to help the viewers and the fans understand what Coach Antonio Pierce said of the Las Vegas Raiders. He said he felt like he saw some individuals out there making business decisions. So from here on out, they're going to be making business decisions as well. Can you enlighten the viewers and the listeners on what Coach Antonio Pierce is talking about?
Man, listen, we just talked about the Rams, Carolina going out to Vegas and just manhandling the Raiders. No one saw that coming. But with Coach Pierce, to your point, there was a lot of guys that were turning down tackles, like literally turning it down. And there's a few highlights that involve one particular player. And I'm not saying this is the guy he's talking about, but a lot of people on social media, they're kind of hinting that he's talking about Jack Jones, number 18.
Yep.
And there's a few opportunities where Jack could have got in there to kind of get in on the tackle. And he was like, no, not today. And there was one play, Pat, I can't remember who the running back was. I don't know if it was Chuba Herbert or somebody else. They was running, and Jack was coming free. Nobody was blocking him. And when he got to him, he kind of sidestepped him. Like he had the ball. He kind of sidestepped him and let somebody else make the first contact. Huh?
He got out of the way?
Yes. Blatant. You would have thought he had the ball and he was trying to make somebody miss.
No chance, man.
And I think that's what Antonio Pierce is referencing, those plays. It might have could have been some other people, but you know, when you play cornerback or you in the secondary, if you turn down a hit, it's not a lot of traffic around for you to kind of get bottled up in the traffic.
Everybody see it.
Everybody see it. So with them, the Raiders hosting Cleveland, I want to know will there be any lineup movement with the starters, especially on the defensive side, because that wasn't a good look, bro. And I know sometimes for us as corners, especially late in the game, the game over with. You ain't trying to get no bruise, no shoulder contusion at the end of the game, and we done lost. But you can't do that.
No, you can't get out of the way, Mac.
That's on tape.
Yeah, you can't get out of the way.
Oh shoot, no, I don't want none of that smoke. Man, somebody else get there. Like what?
I definitely much rather get ran over and then just get out of the way.
I'ma just shoot. I'ma just shoot a leg and just hope for the best.
It also depends on how you shoot the leg too, though.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make some. I got to be a speed bump in the residential area. If I don't get him down, he got at least go over me a little slow and slow him down.
So if I don't shoot, because if you shoot as well, Mac, it also depends on if you shoot, ain't nobody behind you, you don't hit nothing.
Oh yeah, he going. I can't do that. I ain't gonna shoot then. I'm not gonna shoot in that scenario.
And then your face touching the ground and stuff.
I ain't gonna shoot in that scenario. If it's
an
angle and I got pursuit coming, I'm gonna just go ahead and shoot. I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna pull my trigger.
I'd rather get ran over, like at least to slow him up, because that's a true speed bump. Yeah. If I shoot and miss, ain't no damn speed bump.
You can't miss. That's the thing. You can't miss. But even if you miss, Pat P, you at least attempted the try.
Yeah.
You ain't Olay.
That's all bad.
Man, Pat, when you see Pat, listen, I'm biased when it comes to my DBs. I always try to put my DBs and say the best things about it.
Oh my goodness.
He was like, "Oh no!"
Like you saw a little roach or something when you turned the lights on. You saw a roach.
Shoot! Let me get back, man. I don't want none of that. And then he act like he tried to go get on the tackle when he done passed him.
Oh no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
His stomach must have hurt. I said, "Coach, man, my stomach hurt, man. I feel like I'm about to mess with myself, man. Coach, I couldn't make no contact. I had to say something.
Yeah, that's a bad.
But my stomach bad, man. I'm down bad right now. I ain't even supposed to be in the game. I told you my stomach would bother me. I can't be out there on tape like that. I'd rather get beat deep for a long touchdown to be on tape doing that. Like, let me be in chase mode. I'm chasing somebody because they just ran past. But you do this? Oh, I don't want nothing. Oh, yeah, y'all got him. I'm going to get on him now. Yeah, come on, man. That ain't a good look. Last thing I got before we get to our lines. We have 3 teams currently that are winless, Pat P. Jacksonville, Tennessee, Cincinnati. Who gets a win this week? Now, the caveat is Jacksonville plays at Houston. Tennessee travels to to Miami on Monday night. And Cincinnati travels to Carolina. Which team gets a win this weekend?
So I'm already saying it's between Tennessee and Cincinnati.
Man, you ain't giving Jacksonville a shot?
No, not the way they're playing football right now. They got no confidence. They just got their head just smashed into the wall last night. Trevor Lawrence just looked like a deer in the headlights.
But they just paid him.
I know. They paid. They just paid a lot of people. They just played Dak too.
Hey, Trevor Lawrence hasn't won a game since mid-November of 2013,
and it looks like it.
Yeah, he's 0-9 his last 9 starts, something like that. But go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, and it looks like it. So I expect that trend to continue. And they're playing a pissed off Houston team. I believe they're going to be playing a pissed off Houston team. So I'm going Houston in that game. I don't even care what the line is. I like Houston.
Okay.
Even if it's 14 and a half. And I know the lead don't roll like that, but I like Houston. Jackson, Cincinnati and who? Cincinnati,
they're playing Carolina.
Cincinnati, Carolina. I think that's going to be a competitive game. I really do. Because Carolina looked like they found some energy in a new surge of Andy Dalton, the Wisely vet, 14-year vet, now inserted into the lineup. So it seems like the team is playing a little bit more juice. But I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals, the team to get their first win. The Miami and the Tennessee game, that's a 50-50 opportunity for Tennessee. I like Miami defense to be able to help them win that ball game. Will Levis to me, he just played too careless of football right now. And I'm expecting him to continue that trend if the coach is able to take the leash off him, because he understands what he got at quarterback. He is only so much that he can give him thus far until he able to tame him for sure, because he plays like he's on a video game and trying to get whatever it takes to get to 100 points. But I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals, the team to get their win this weekend.
I'm right there with you. I think Cincinnati has the best shot. Joe Burrow cannot go to Carolina and come out with a loss. Mm-mm. Now, defensively, I don't know if they're going to be able to get the stops because they've been a bit inconsistent all year, but this is a Joe Burrow game. You cannot go into Carolina and lose to Andy Dalton. I think the next best team to win would be Tennessee, with them playing Miami with their quarterback situation going on there. I don't think Jacksonville has a shot. Now, anything can happen. We're just giving our opinion based on what we've seen in 3 weeks of play, but I don't feel too good about Jacksonville. All right, Pat P, before I let you go, we're going to transition to a new segment of our show, right? We're going to give our picks. Mm-hmm. We got to come up with a name for this. Matter of fact,
come up with a name.
And this segment is sponsored by no one. Yep. Not yet, but soon.
Damn, Mac, you got something that quick for me?
Hey, not yet, but soon come. All things covered picks, man, for this week, NFL picks. All right, first game we're going to talk about. New Orleans traveling to Atlanta. This is a rivalry game. Atlanta, they're giving 1.5 points to New Orleans, who was the talk of the town 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, they spiraled against Philly, allow Philly to come into their place and get a win. Who you're liking in this ball game?
New Orleans Saints.
You taking New Orleans getting 1.5?
I'm taking New Orleans is getting 1.5.
They're getting 1.5.
Yeah, I like the New Orleans Saints. I love the way their defense have been playing. Derek Carr was a little not himself throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. Last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, which I thought the Philadelphia Eagles finally came back to life on the defensive side of the ball, but was a little bit out of sync last year. My boy Alvin Kamara is one of the best backs in the dual backs in the league, as far as catching passes out of the backfield and running the football. So I'm going with the New Orleans Saints with the points. I like their defense better than Atlanta right now, and I'm a defensive guy, so I tend to try to pick whoever has the best defense. New Orleans Saints getting 1 point.
1.5. I mean, 1.5 is almost basically like a pick 'em. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now that 1.5 can be very, very important if it's a close ball game, and these two teams tend to play close ball games, and these two teams tend to split as well. I'm gonna take Atlanta being at home. New Orleans just got some bad news with their center. He's going to be missing, I think, 6 to 8 weeks, their all-pro center. That's going to be a huge loss when you talk about how important the center is. Mm-hmm. And to your point about the Saints defense, Atlanta defense has been pretty good as well. We saw what they did week 1 against Pittsburgh, played fairly well against the Falcons, kept their team within reach of winning that ball game. And they played well against Pat Mahomes.
They did.
They played well against Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I think this is the game where we see a complete game from Kirk Cousins. I feel like they should just run tempo, do what they did in that final drive against Philly when he just went up and down the field against them to score that touchdown to win the ball game eventually for the Falcons. So I'm taking the Falcons. Pat P has the Saints getting 1.5.
And I got a bold prediction.
What you got?
Bold prediction: Kirk Cousins gets sacked 3 times, and also someone on the D line will force a fumble off him. He gets sacked 3 times, your former teammate, and he gonna lose a fumble. Yep. You go make sure you document that. All right. Next game, Rams traveling to Chicago. The Rams getting 2.5. The Rams are getting 2.5.
Yep.
I like the Rams all day by 2.5. So that's a field goal. I'm new with all these.
Well, if they lose by 3, they lose. So right. But what I would do is, for our viewers, I don't mind buying a point. I'll buy it up a half and get 3 points. That way, if the Rams win by 3, if they lose by 3, you still win the bet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But me personally, I like the Rams. I like the Rams straight up.
I like the Rams too.
I like even though this is a desperation game for Chicago, I like
Hey,
the
so
Rams straight
Mac,
up. Now, this is a very, very intriguing matchup, Pat.
so
The
Mac, tell
next
me,
one.
it is. Hold on, wait. You talking about
Okay.
the intriguing matchup of the Rams and
No.
Rams?
The next one I'm about to hit on, but let's go with the Rams. What you got?
Yeah. So tell me this. So what happens? Like, what are the odds if the Rams are the underdog, but then you like the Rams money line?
Oh, you get more money. I don't know what the plus odds is,
Okay.
but you get more money. So when you take the underdog with no points, you get more money. And I'm willing to sprinkle something on that money line because I like the Rams to win that ball game outright.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, the next game, Minnesota traveling to Green Bay. Now, Jordan Love might be back in the lineup, and the Green Bay Packers are favored by 2.5.
Ooh.
Now, a little cool nugget. Years ago, Pat P, I was out in Vegas, and I was talking with this guy, and he was a major bettor in all sports. Soccer didn't matter. It's like that's what he make his living on. And we were just having, you know how you around and you just having candid conversations. And he told me when it comes to the NFL, he says anytime a team is getting 2.5, take the underdog. He said it's something about that 2.5 line. It's in a gray area. And he says oftentimes the underdog who's getting 2.5, they covers the spread. And then the crazy part about it, Pat, while we're talking, because you know a lot of people can be feeding your ears with this and that, it makes things sound good. He pulls up his iPad and went through past lines in the NFL.
Look at all the 2.5s.
And when we went through about 30 games of old games where they already happened, the result was already in. And he shared with me the actual game. He like, if you don't believe this was the actual final score, pull it up and you look yourself. And I said, dang, you sure enough is right about that. He said, listen, man, I'm just telling you. He said, I've been doing this my whole life. And this is something I follow. I don't care who is the underdog. When they get in 2.5, because 2.5 is a gray area where it's like they underdog, but they really ain't an underdog. Because they ain't like it's 4, 4.5, ain't 5. It's 2.5. So we just had the Rams getting 2.5 from Chicago, and we both took. So when anytime I see that 2.5 for our viewers, and I'm just going off of the experience that I had with this young gentleman who I spoke to years ago. I forgot his name because, boy, if I wish I had his number now. Because this is all he does, Pat P. And he win way more than he lose. And he ain't betting no lunch money.
You're right.
Nah, he ain't betting no cafeteria money. When you go to the cafeteria, you got to pay for your food at schoolhouse.
Dude.
Yeah, so he trusts his logic and his method and how he handles betting. So Green Bay is giving Minnesota 2.5.
I like
Green Bay can still win this game, but will they cover?
Minnesota money line, or however you said.
Yeah, I like Minnesota getting 2.5 in this game as well. I think this is going to be a very close game.
Like you said, though, I don't even like the points. I like them straight up.
Straight up?
Yeah, Minnesota win this first game by 7 points.
Ooh. Hey, okay, I love it. Now, next game we have Pittsburgh.
And also going back, I don't know the history. Hugo, you may be able to have to help us with this. But at least when I've been there and going back to the past history, for the most part, every time Green Bay came to Minnesota first.
No, Minnesota's going to Green Bay this game.
Oh, I still
They're
like
going to Lambeau.
But I was going to say anytime, because they always try to make us, Minnesota at the time, go to Green Bay late in the year.
And it's cold.
Right. So now I'm happy they switched that around because I'm like, man, don't you bounce back a year? Like, if
no, they used to always have Minnesota when it's cold, boy. You can't run out there, ground froze.
They were like, no, there's gonna be playoff implications. We putting y'all ass outside. But anywho,
next game, Pittsburgh.
If it was home, I was taking Minnesota regardless. I'm still taking Minnesota now. But I was going to say I need Hugo to pull this up. Looking at the opening, like the first game of the 2-game series, when the game opened up at Minnesota, like what was the record between the win-losses between the guys versus when they opened up at Green Bay?
Well, we got to try to get that information.
That they're better at home when they play them first.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Hugo. Next game, Pittsburgh traveling to Indy. Pittsburgh is a 1.5-point favorite.
Oh, Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh.
I
Pittsburgh
like
on the
Pittsburgh too.
nitty-gritty
Pittsburgh.
football.
Now, the weird thing about the Steelers, there's always a game where you're like, what the freak's going on? They've had success. They found ways to win. And Anthony Richardson, bro, he ain't.
This is a coming out party, Mac. This is about to be a coming out party for the team to really set themselves apart from everybody in the division, in my opinion. I feel like Anthony Richardson is not going to be capable enough to throw the ball on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is going to wear the Indianapolis Colts defense down with Najee Harris in the game. And I think this is going to be the game where we see Justin Fields get 275 yard plus.
My only concern about this game, Pat P, Pittsburgh have issues sometimes with running quarterbacks. That's it.
They ain't going to have no issue with this guy.
All right, but I'm taking Pittsburgh as well, laying the points. Next game, now this is one of the larger lines. Denver traveling to the Jets. They're getting 7.5.
I like Denver.
Denver's getting 7.5.
Yeah, I like Denver with the 7.5. Coming off a big win off of
the Bucs, Tampa.
On the road, which was huge for him. You know, that's always a momentum builder for a young quarterback in the team who's been struggling to find a way to win ball games. I think it's going to be a close ball game. I think the Jets win, but not by 8 or more.
Now, I'll tell you this much. Aaron Rodgers looked real good last Thursday night against the Pats. He looked real good. Looked like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He looked real good.
But yeah. Denver has a solid defense as well.
That defense looked real good against Baker. They brought Baker back down to reality last week when they played against Tampa. So can they continue that stretch? I think 7.5 is a bit large for me. And like I said, viewers, I don't mind buying points. So you can get it at 7.5. Heck, if you want to buy it up to 8, 8.5, do so. It's like when you get in your car, you put your seatbelt on just in case. When you buy points, just in case something happened in that game, you get a little extra wiggle room to be able to keep your bet alive. So if you want to buy points, go ahead. But I'm like you, I'm right there with you. Now, this is the final game. Jacksonville traveling to Houston. Jacksonville's getting 7 points.
What I just said, Coach. I said that earlier.
Yeah, I already know.
Jacksonville can be getting 14. I like the opposing team. And now that they're playing a pissed off Houston, I like Houston. With the points, what's the over-under?
Let me see. Get the over-under. They're getting 7. The over-under is 45 and a hook, 45.5.
I think it's going to be under. I'm saying Houston. And what was the spread?
7.
7, yes. Houston win by 9.
I like that. Houston, this is – now, hopefully, we don't know the status of Joe Mixon because when Joe Mixon is in the lineup, their offense is much better.
Yes,
but this is a revenge opportunity, not a revenge, but a get-right opportunity for Houston. So let's see how it plays. So for our viewers, you can go ahead and mix and mingle however you want, but this is what we have when it comes to the upcoming games that we just talked about. Pat P is taking New Orleans, getting 1.5. I have Atlanta laying 1.5. We both agree with the Rams. We both agree with Minnesota. We both agree with Pittsburgh. We both agree with Denver, and we both agree with Houston. Oh, the final one, Washington. They're getting 3.5 from Arizona. Yeah, that right there. Hey, because it's like if you're a prisoner of the moment, you're like, shoot, Jayden Daniels.
That's what I was about. Where they playing at? In
Arizona.
Damn, I was gonna say if they going east, I like Washington.
But I don't know. My thing is this, because Kyler Murray has been playing some real good football as well.
He has been.
And it was a close game between them and Detroit. Can Washington get the necessary stops? Because Arizona can run the football.
They can.
Cincinnati didn't really run the ball like that.
They just drop back and pass all day.
And you know, Kyler is a +1 in the running game. This is going to be a good game. This is one of the games that is going to be really good.
I was going to say this is the one that's really, really sticky. This should have been a pick'em game.
And the over under. I'm sorry. So now we had some line movement. Now it's set at 3. and the over-under is 50 in the hook. 50 in the hook.
I knew it had to be high.
It's
It's
high.
going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going over. I'm going over on the points because I feel like watching Arizona defense, and they're solid, but they're a high-pressure football team. So I feel like Jaden, with his understanding of pressure, because Cincinnati Bengals was a high-pressure football team as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he'll be able to find the hots, be able to find the holes in the defense whenever Arizona, want to send pressure at him. But I'm going with the over for sure. You said 50 in the hook.
50 in the hook, 50 in the half.
Yeah, I'm going with the over. And the team I'm going to go with, and you say Arizona's giving 3. And they playing in Arizona. I'm going to go with Arizona, man. I think Arizona win by 6. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be at least 2 field goals by each team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm getting the 6 points from. But Arizona by 6. Let's say I'm going, what equals 6? 28. I'm sorry, 31 Arizona, 24 or 25 Washington.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is. I want to buy it down and take Washington because it's at 3 now. I don't mind buying it down 2.5 or even 2. I mean, buy it up. I'm sorry, buy it up. So they get in 3. I wouldn't mind buying it up to maybe 4, 4.5. Because I think.
Like I said, I think Arizona win by 6. It's going to be
now. See, this is the thing about picking the games like early. Is Austin Eckler going to be able to play? Because he went out of that Cincinnati game with concussion. Him and Brian Robinson, they coexist rather nicely in the backfield. Kind of 2 different styles of backfield, and they were running well against Cincinnati, running real good against Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And to your point, about this, and heck, I do as well. You go into Arizona at the wrong time, it can get real loud in there.
Yeah.
it can get real loud in there, boy. And this is a team that clearly has really changed the thoughts on from how most viewed them based on how competitive they've been. I'm gonna buy it up though. I'm gonna take the Commanders, and right now it's at 3. I'm gonna see if I can get it to 4, and I'm gonna take Commanders. I think, but this is gonna be an entertaining game, man. 2 quarterbacks that are playing real good football, 2 teams that are playing real good football as well.
Hey, don't be surprised though, Mac, that this may be the best game of the week.
No question.
Yeah,
that's what I said. This is a game, man, that when we readdress what happened this weekend in week 4 of the NFL, people are like, wow, that game was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because the styles of play from both offenses and the quarterback. So, hey, man, there's a lot that we just gave out. Hope you guys definitely enjoy that part of our show along with the entire show. Like I said, man, all things covered, we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us. Make sure, as I stated earlier in the intro, if you missed it, go up, check, but I'm going to give it to you again. Go to homefieldapparel.com. First time offer, first time order. When you purchase whatever gear you're purchasing, if you're a Penn State fan, if you're an LSU fan, if you're Alabama, Illinois, whoever, check it out, purchase, enter the promo code COVERED, and you will get 15% off your first offer. Courtesy of yours truly, Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, because we rock with you, because y'all rock with us, and we love being great people and helping you out when it comes to cheering for your favorite team, because it's only right when you cheer for your favorite team, you got to have on some great gear. Home Field Apparel have the greatest gear one could put on. As you see, we rocking it right now, and we got more. We got hoodies, we got bomber jackets, we got socks, we got coffee mugs, we got a whole 9, man. Thank you once again for rocking with us. Pat P, I can't wait to see exactly how these lines play out for us and for all of our viewers that are listening to us as well. Let us know. If you're going to put a parlay together, hit us up in our comment section, and we will talk about our winning parlay next week when we come back. See you when we see you. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, Plastic cup of C-Rock, bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.